Good Friday morning, friends. Whether you are local to me and at least one of my guests today, and other friends, social media friends, where maybe you're not as local to either one of us, all three of us today, welcome to you. Good Friday morning. I so appreciate you sharing your time, tuning in to this episode of New You, New Job, and New Home. And while we're still in this first month of 2025, I can still say this. Happy New Year. And hopefully you are on a good jump start to this new year that's in front of you. So for this morning, this episode, I've got a couple of guests that I've asked them to share their time with me and with you. And of course, their social media audience. My first guest is a friend. She's a recurring guest when she has the time to grace us with her knowledge and presence. And I always love bringing her in to the conversation. Why? Because, why? For those of you listening, if you might be thinking about a career transition, if you might be at a point where you have to look for your next opportunity, she is definitely someone that you want to know. So with all of that said, let me give her, you know what? I'm not going to give her the warm welcome. Her work family is going to give her the warm welcome. So work family of Debbie's, let's give Debbie a warm welcome before she shows up in the into the studio. Let's go. There you have it, Debbie. Your work family is calling your name. Chant, chant, chant. How do you like that one?
Great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Bill. Happy New Year to you too, and who everyone's listening. Great day today.
Happy New Year back to you. You and I are caught in this frozen tundra for the past, I don't know, several days to a week, right?
Yep, it's cold.
Yeah. We'll come back to that in a little bit. So, Debbie, you have been a recurring guest with me in some of my video episodes. Thank you for always showing up for me. But more importantly, for today, for your audience, my audience, our bigger social media audience, can you talk to us about what industries may be slowing down, given the fact that you represent a company that places talent, whether it be contract, permanent placement, or the unique projects, right? What
Yep.
industries may be slowing down versus the ones that are really gearing up? Talk to us about that.
Yep. Well, the printing industry, paper industry has kind of been going down. Everybody's really into recycling. So that's one of the areas that we think we see a decrease. Of course, there's always the one-offs of small business just in general that just in this time, they're just having a struggle. So there are some small businesses out there that are also having that issue. But then too, everyone's really into renewable energy and everyone's into recycling. So any company that does a lot with fossil fuels, they're having to do a shift. So we're seeing that everybody is looking into like hybrid vehicles, for instance. So everybody with EV batteries, anything electrical, those are all the types of companies in manufacturing that are doing well. Renewable energy, anything with technology too. So companies are trying to use a lot of AI. They're using a lot of, process improvements because they're trying to not that they don't want to use employees, because they do, but they want to utilize them better. And so they're using AI, they're using different types of technology where the employee cannot do all those mundane tasks. You know, they're gearing them up to do other important things.
Yeah, yeah. Or I would rephrase it this way: the implementation, the use of AI is so that for those employees, for you and for me, it's to allow us to use our time for more impactful opportunities.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Um, so for someone who may be watching today's episode, who don't know you, why don't we start off with you dropping for our social media audience? What is it that you do? What is it that your organization does?
Okay, perfect. So we are a woman-owned business. We've been around for 54 years, and we do all kinds of engineering project work, and we do staffing. So we will go into your manufacturing company and help you staff a project. Let's say that you just got a big order, you need machine builders. Maybe you need some process improvement on your manufacturing line. Maybe you need to build a clean room. We have engineers that will do all of those things for you. And then let's say that you just need some additional hands-on. You need a person for 6 months, we can find that person for you. You need a permanent employee, we can find that for you. I work in and on the life sciences team, but we have very many different verticals. We're in plastic, we're in food, we're in pharma, we're in utilities. So any kind of company that you can think of, we are working with to help them.
Wow. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, do you see any demographic shifts in the talent that you guys offer your services to? Do you see maybe more females coming into STEM? Because that sounds like many of your industries are kind of STEM related, right?
Yes, that is huge right now. Yes, women in engineering is great. We actually run a program for that in specifics. But I will also say, just in general, all companies are looking for hands-on people. So you don't, we encourage college, but you don't need to go to college anymore to get a really good job, because we need controls engineers. We need people out there that know electrical. We need people out there that can fix machines, and that's all mechanics. So those are the types of people that almost all of our clients are looking for.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, let me go off tangent a little bit. I'm going to give you kind of a sneak peek to an introduction that I will be opening the door for you with, Debbie. Let me do a shout out to my wife's friend, her son, Noah. Noah, this is a great way, as you're watching and listening to this, this is a great way for you to connect with Debbie Jackson, because since you've served in one of the military armed forces, given your analytical and technical skills, as Debbie just dropped her, mojo here, you could be a sought after next hire. So keep that in mind, Noah. So let's now talk about looking forward as much as we can, right? That supposed crystal ball that we really don't have, but hey, we can play along with this. By the way, all of you who are in the industries of STEM, as I tease many of my friends, clients, it's kind of like Revenge of the Nerds. You guys are like driving what's going to happen for all of us. Hey, we're cheering you on, so don't get me wrong. So, Debbie, as we look ahead with whatever crystal ball that you and I have, what do you see as trends going forward?
Again, it's kind of a repeat of what I just talked about. Everybody's becoming eco-friendly and trying to be sustainable. So those are our big buzzword. Everything to do with those type of industries is huge. Also, companies just in general, older companies included, people that have been doing things the same way every day, they're trying to go digital, because they're trying to see information in real time to see how they can fix things. They don't want to wait till the end of the year and go, oh, we didn't make any money and we should have did A, B, and C. They're constantly changing. They're trying to figure out ways to do things as it happens. So again, that's part of using AI and part of using robots. So
Yeah.
those are all the big buzzwords.
Yeah. And it sounds like to me, with what you've described, the employers that are certainly gearing up, they're looking for talent. They're looking for talent, not just with those STEM skills, but also talent that is embracing change as opposed to, let's call it, as opposed to fighting it.
Right. Right. Change is big. Yep.
Change is necessary. Change is big. Absolutely. Yep. So Debbie, as you and I are caught in this frozen tundra for the past week, have you thought about going somewhere warmer?
Yes, we're gonna be going somewhere soon. I told my husband we got to plan a trip, so we're probably gonna jump on a cruise, go to Cabo, something like that.
All right, I love that idea. I like cruises, and certainly the warmth for you and me and our friends this time of the year. It's sometimes a necessity. Yep. So audience members, with all of that said, before I bring in my next guest, we're all going to be jealous. Once you see them, we're all going to be jealous because for all of us, maybe some of you caught in a frozen tundra, even our brothers and sisters, Debbie, who live down south, right? They got a whole lot more snow than we did.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's now go south and bring in my next guest, my friend, mi amigo, Travis. So here we go. Let's go south. And as we're going south, people, let me get his fan base to give him a rip-roaring welcome. Travis, these are your friends, your old friends, your new friends, and a shout out to you, your Ohio State Buckeye friend, right? There you go. There you go. So with all of that said, Travis, welcome to the studio today. Oh, I think you're muted.
Smart. Thanks for thanks for having me back on. Appreciate it. Debbie, pleasure to meet you. Skip on Cabo this year. Come on down to Costa Rica. Help you plan everything. It's second nature now. So love to have you. Get a hold of me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you. And Bill, I think you can say Happy New Year up until February. So you're good
absolutely. To go. So to you and your friends locally in Costa Rica, feliz año nuevo. Hola, mi amigo.
Hola. ¿Cómo estás?
So Travis, we're absolutely jealous of you because as I can see, Debbie and I are probably layered up. We got, the sweater thing going. You got the short sleeve thing going. So yes, we're jealous. Talk to us about how you made your personal pivot and shift to then now live your best life in Costa Rica.
It wasn't an overnight decision. I saw your intro picture of Chicago. I miss Chicago, July, September, August. That's about it. I really do. I mean, those 9 o'clock sunsets, like we don't have that here. We're close enough to the equator where we get 12 hours of sun every day and every night. But what we get is a lot of sun, a lot of rain. So everything is green. Hasn't really taken much time to adjust to the weather. I bought my first surfboard and
wow.
Every day we're up in the mountains, we're on the beach, and that's just because of where we live. So, but yeah, it's hot here. It's already 85 this morning. This is my second shirt. I'm sure I had a few showings this morning, and it's like you just reach for that shade when you're outside. So it's been awesome. I don't miss the cold, but as you mentioned, we were just in Atlanta, and we didn't bring winter clothes here, obviously. So it's, we went down in a sweatshirt, and not being in the cold for 2 years, like I used to hate when people would be like, it's so cold. It's like you grew up in it, but you lose that, that warmth. Like it was freezing. So as soon as we landed, it was like so good to get back. But
yeah. And by the way, you were obviously in Atlanta for the college football championship event. Right?
Yes, I am now broke, and if we can start a GoFundMe, that would be awesome. But well worth it. Life is short. You got to support the Buckeyes when they make it. And it was so much fun. So I got
all right. So
a lot of friends and family in Atlanta, so we made the most of it.
Good for you. Good for you. So let's now talk about how you made this planned change to live your best life in Costa Rica. Before doing what you're doing, you were kind of in the industry. One of many that Debbie, recruits and staffs for, right? Like the medical device pharma business, right?
For me, I did medical device sales after pharma. And I guess to kind of answer the question, my fiance does healthcare IT recruiting. So Debbie's probably very familiar. Good example of that would be if a hospital does a go live project or they're switching EMRs, she'll hire the consultants to go in and do the project. So I hear her on the phone every day, and I can relate to probably what Debbie does. So,
so you guys jumped on the shift.
That made it easier. Yeah, with her job, that made it easier to do. We don't have children. We have a big dog. So not having to uproot, kids and put them into school. Although I'm working with so many clients who are bringing their kids down here, and private international schools are great. But that was part of the equation. It wasn't an overnight decision. I did medical device sales, and I absolutely loved it. It was, very lucrative. It kind of set me up for being able to make the step, because becoming a new realtor is very expensive. I can warn you. But no, it was one of those things too. COVID hit, living in Chicago, it just, the world changed, and it was kind of just the perfect timing. I've done 4 or 5 medical startups. So you wear a lot of hats and you wear yourself out, and then you sell or you go public, hopefully. So it was just a time for change. And, I joke because I was up in the mountains yesterday on a listing appointment, and we have a 4-wheeler to get up there. And here I am putting sunscreen on when I could be in the OR. So
So talk to us about this. What is real estate, the business of real estate? What is it like in Costa Rica compared to what you know to be here in the US?
So it's very, very similar, which makes my job a lot easier. Like, for example, you find the property, you go through the negotiation process. You basically sign a purchase sales agreement. What is a little bit different here is you have attorneys. It's a very attorney driven country, kind of like Chicago. So you rely heavily on the attorneys to draft everything. Due diligence is so important here, whether you're buying a condo in a HOA, whether you're buying land. I mean, there's so much due diligence that has to be done. But basically that's done in 15 days. The introduction of escrow in Costa Rica has been huge, because money does not go to a developer. It goes to a escrow company who releases it in a timely fashion. So it's very protected, the whole process. The other thing that's very similar, at least where I'm at, Playa Jaco, is it's titled property. So you can buy it on the beach. It's titled. You have the same rights, same protections as you would buying in the States. So not much different. I would say you just got to be more cautious in who you trust to do the due diligence. And luckily, I work with a very good team of attorneys. So it's been somewhat easy for me, because I've always learned to surround yourself with resources. So everyone is a WhatsApp away, and I kind of make the process easy. I explain it to the clientele, and biggest thing is just listening and understanding what they're doing, because a lot of times they want something that's a quick return on investment, and it's kind of like, you better understand that project before you jump into that. But majority of people are coming over longer periods of time, because now the visa is extended for 6 months for tourism. People are finding remote jobs, as we're talking about today, so they have the ability to come for longer time frames. And most people are looking for property now to kind of get their foot in the door at today's prices, because, as you know, common sense says, regardless of where you're at, real estate's going to go up in time. So it's true. That's why listening to them is important, because you got to understand, kind of where they're at in their life and what it looks like over the next 5-10 years.
That's so true. A couple of key things. I know you and I, previous conversations, we've touched on this before. Real estate is a team sport. But beyond that, because you've had a career in big ticket item sales organizations. You know, selling, it's also really a team sport as well.
It
right?
is. It
Yeah.
is. I'll
So,
tell you this from my end. We don't have an MLS here. So if you
okay.
called and said, I want to know the history of that property, I can try, but that's only through the 18 agents that I work with. And
Right.
I've had several conversations with RE/MAX back in the States, and some of the agents and brokers are amazed at how well we get along and work together. But we have to know where the listings are at. We have to work together. So we're all in like a big WhatsApp group, and it's awesome. You know, working with these guys, not only do I learn quickly, but you know, it's kind of like one person knows this area, the other person knows this area. So I start to have my go-tos. Absolutely.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Do you see more as time is quickly moving forward? Do you see more of your peers, my peers, and Debbie's peers doing this thing, like you know, doing the snowbird thing in Costa Rica, or just making the complete shift?
No, I would say I've had so much interaction, and it's kind of like I'm building the business going on, you know, year number 2 now. A lot of action on LinkedIn, as you can imagine. I'm very active on that. I think that's a good customer base for me, client base. I do the medical conferences in the States to kind of, my goal is to bring people to Costa Rica, show them a great time, show them what options are available. And I would say, yeah, it's working pretty well. I think a lot of people I know are gearing retirement or they're becoming empty nesters. So it's time to diversify and kind of get into the international business in a very safe country to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for all of you watching and listening to this episode, as you can see from, you know, Travis, he's dropped in his website where you can find him. By the way, Travis, I must say this. You know, I follow you on social media here and there when I have time. I just love some of those videos that you do. I guess you rely on others to help you shoot it, where it's like a drone flyover.
Absolutely.
And then I love that stuff.
No, it's great. It gets a lot of attention, a lot of play. I've started to do drone footage at all my listings because that's the first thing people do. They see that little red button, they click it. I mean, it's no brainer. And the beauty here is to show the mountains, the ocean.
Bingo.
Yep. So it's,
they want to see the blue water, white sand, and the mountains.
My drone guy loves me. We stay busy. Also, what we're doing is exploring the Central Pacific coast of Costa Rica, where I'm doing episodes. I think we're on number 5 now. And I kind of just go to different beaches. We're going to a mountain town soon. I'm going to interview some of the local people who have owned restaurants up there for 70 years and just get people familiar with what's what, because most people don't know where Costa Rica's at. Some people call it an island. It's not. We got Panama and Nicaragua. So it's, but no, Debbie will find out when she gives me a call. I hook her up.
Debbie, now that you heard what you heard from Travis,
are you sold?
Are you sold?
Yeah, I know. Costa Rica. That sounds pretty good.
I'm also pushy on Costa. People coming here, you know.
Tourism. Let me do a quick shout out to my brother, who I was texting with just within the past 72 hours. Danny, as you might watch this, listen to this on demand, you talked about leaving the USA for Costa Rica. You heard it from Travis. Time is now. It's right for you.
You can do both. You don't have to give up your place in the States. In fact, you probably shouldn't. And, you know, it's so easy to travel. We're on Central Time Zone. So, you know, same time as you guys right now. And, you know, it's easy to go back and forth. And now that you have 6 months, you never feel pressured. I mean, if you're here full time like I am, you want to get citizenship temporary. And that's what we're going for. It's actually called temporary residency. But yeah, for the most part, it's easy to be a dual citizen, and there's a lot of advantages to being a citizen in the States, as you guys know, and a lot of advantages if you're living here, down here as well.
Yeah, I think going forward, all of us, all of our friends, family members, you know what it is, we want choices, we want flexibility, and just like you, Travis, who doesn't want to control their own destiny, right?
It can be scary, but it's been a good ride.
Yeah. So, audience members, as we wrap up today's episode of New You, New Job, and New Home, I want to say thank you to my guests, my friends today. In the event you cannot find them on social media, which I would find to be, like, well, what are you Google searching, people? Scan this QR code. I will gladly connect with you and connect you to them, if not just flat out do a very personalized introduction between you, Debbie Jackson, and Travis. So, guys, as we close out today's episode, I'm going to wish the two of you and all of our social media friends a wonderful start to your 2025. Let me ask my music posse to play us out. Here we go. Enjoy the day, everyone.